The president, as you said, supports the billionaire tax, from my understanding. Senator Manchin has expressed criticism of it. He said, quote, "I don't like the connotation that we're targeting different people." President Biden has been pretty open about the fact that he thinks wealthier people in this country should pay more. I wonder what the president makes of Senator Manchin criticizing the billionaire tax.
I think the president certainly knows there's some agreements and some disagreements about which components of a range of tax fairness proposals are the best options. That's why there are so many out there that he has proposed, that others have proposed, that what we're doing now is working through what will be in the final package. As I said a little bit earlier, he supports the billionaire tax. It has changed from the version that was proposed, a year or two ago that received, understandably, a lot of attention. We're working with Congress and Chairman Wyden to make sure the highest income Americans pay their fair share, something that he thinks is not only would make the tax system more fair, but also would be a way to help pay for this historic bill. I did that for Mike Scheer, to get it across the finish line. So I don't have any direct response from him or anyone to Senator Manchin and his positions, what he agrees and disagrees on. What we're trying to do here is align an agreement on making the tax system more fair while pushing forward a historic package.
You could square what sounds like confidence that a bill could still be struck by tomorrow with the real issue that how to pay for it along with what's in it is still seemingly a big problem here, a thing that has not been resolved.
Well, if we had a deal, as you know, we would be telling you about it. But I think what members of Congress have conveyed to all of you and leaders in Congress, as well as the White House and the President, is that we are very close. That's because we are very close. And it does require working through specific details and components that need to be finalized before we have a final agreement. But that's how everybody feels who's a part of these discussions, and that's why I think you hear everybody conveying a similar tone about the progress.
Can I ask you, how confident is the president that thousands of Department of Transportation workers won't be furloughed, that some public works won't be shut down? I wonder what his message is to those workers who are worried about Sunday coming and possibly having to be furloughed. Is he confident that that won't happen?
Well, certainly, again, we're working with leadership, with Speaker Pelosi, Leader Schumer, to work on an extension of the surface transportation bill. Obviously, they're going to be in charge of determining when those votes will be and what it looks like, but we want to avoid furloughs, of course, and protect workers, and that's central to the president's belief system.
One last
Go
question.
ahead.
Can I
Go ahead, Yamiche.
One
Go
last
ahead.
question on Haiti.
Yeah.
I know that the missionary, that there's still significant assets,
Yeah.
Jake said yesterday, going to Haiti to deal with the missionaries. I also wonder if you could respond to criticisms of the Biden administration that there are deportations still happening and going on and people being sent back to Haiti amid not only the fuel shortage but also this hostage situation continuing.
Well, I think it's important for people to remember, one, we are doing everything we can to bring these missionaries, U.S. citizens, home safely. We have FBI. We've sent an enormous number of law enforcement officials to help assist with that. And obviously our embassy in Port-au-Prince is running point. These are U.S. citizens. They are, we know, and we have put out a warning in August and put out repeated warnings, I think, over the past several months and even before then, about the threat of kidnapping for ransom for U.S. citizens. That is different from the threats, which are different, and the challenges that are facing Haitians who are in Haiti or who are deported back to Haiti through the system we apply across the board through our immigration system. As you know, that's an assessment that's made by the State Department and the Department of Homeland Security. They've made the assessment that the conditions on the ground allow for individuals to return to Haiti. They continue to assess that, but there's been no change to that. But I think it's important for people to understand there's a bit of a difference between the U.S. citizens, the threat facing the U.S. citizens, which we have warned before, is a threat of kidnapping for ransom and of great concern to us.
Haitians have been getting kidnapped, 200-300% increase. So could you explain the difference in the kidnapping threat to U.S. citizens versus Haitians who have been getting kidnapped?
I think
for years?
why I was answering the question, Yamiche, because you were combining the things into one, and I thought it was important for people to understand the threat of the 17 individuals that we're talking about is one that we have warned about, has been a unique threat that we have posed concerns about in the past. So I wanted people to understand that, and sometimes it's combined. I'm just trying to explain. I'm just trying to explain the policy. I would remind you again that we are an enormous contributor of assistance to the Haitian authorities, we will continue to do that. And I would also note that on the oil shortage, what we're working to do, and our focus right now is on supporting the Haitian National Police. What they are trying to do is secure transportation corridors to allow for fuel deliveries. And it is a challenge, obviously, because there are, as you know, Yamiche, there are parts of Haiti where it is hard to get to. That's why these because of the threats of crime and on the ground and challenging circumstances on the ground. So these transportation corridors are meant to help enable these fuel deliveries to get fuel out to communities that need it. And we obviously, in response to also the serious security situation, we've also allocated an additional $15 million to the Haitian police, including $12 million specifically to strengthen their capacity to respond to gangs. And we're looking to increase this assistance even more. And this is related to your other question about the kidnapping and threats and risks to Haitians on the ground as well. So there are a lot of things to unpack there, which I attempted to do. Okay, one more in the back. Did you? I don't know. Go ahead, in the back.
Jen. A couple of things real quick. First, it seems like